Joining me now, presidential historian, former senior advisor to Ron Paul's 2012 presidential campaign, Doug Wead. Doug, good to have you with us. We appreciate you taking time. We hear this comparison between Reagan and Trump. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I interviewed Ronald Reagan several times, and once after he left the White House, and I asked that question that you always ask a former president, would you have done anything differently? And he said what they always say, which is no. But then later on, deeper into the interview, he came back to it. He said, you asked me earlier, would I have done anything differently? He said, I realized those first few months when we had the Senate and the House, we had our chance, I would have probably done more. And you hear that sentiment from Reagan folk. They say right now, we had 1 year. That's all we really had. We were there 8 years, but we had 1 year to get it done. And so help me, this Donald Trump is going to use his year. He's already used his first week. This is something to see.
It is something to see. It's an extraordinary spectacle because he is breaking every preconception, all of the orthodoxies that have ossified, really, in so many ways, the executive branch. Great power, but very slow moving. Do you think it's entirely possible that this president will have 8 years, not 1 year? Because he has a Congress that could be enlarged. He has a Senate that certainly could be indeed favoring in 2018 the Republicans.
It's entirely possible. I think maybe his advisor Steve Bannon is right. The opposition, it appears, is going to be the national media. That will be the opposition. And
well, they're certainly the most effective opposition, aren't they? I think Bannon has it exactly right. The national left-wing media is attacking unfettered, as the media has never been before. Always in opposition to the Republican Party and conservatives. But this is no holds barred. It's full on.
Yeah, there's no pretense. You and I will remember the Reagan years where it was a little bit more subtle. You'd sit there and just steam because you knew what they were doing. But now it's out of the bag. It's pretty open, and it's a little bit frightening. But I think the numbers are with Trump on what he's doing.
And history. He is on the right side of history, if I may borrow from Mr. Obama, who found himself ultimately on the wrong side of history. He is moving in a direction that is decidedly and obviously and, in my opinion, unequivocally in the national interest, in the interest of middle-class America and those who aspire to it, working men and women and families. And this is a place we've never seen a Republican other than Ronald Reagan for a period in the first term. Would you agree?
You're absolutely right. And he's got an opportunity here with Twitter, with social media. Part of the desperation of the mainstream media, in my opinion, is they sense the vulnerability. Dwight Eisenhower feared the power of the television networks. He said that founding fathers couldn't have anticipated this, and he was afraid it would upset the balance, judicial, legislative, and executive. And James Hagerty said to him, these are good men. Paley and Sarnoff, these are good men. And Eisenhower's comment was, I'm an old army man. I don't trust good men. I trust good systems. You have two people count the church offering, not because they're dishonest, but because an honest man wants someone else in the room. So Eisenhower saw this coming crisis. Trump has a chance to get out from underneath it.
To this point, I would have to say that in every challenge and every problem that Eisenhower could have anticipated, Trump is a man with answers. And Doug, we're going to have to continue the conversation. We're out of time, but I'd like you to come back soon. Doug Wead, thanks so much.